Hello, my friends, my brothers and sisters, my esteemed colleagues. Here we are again today and debunking some more of the false knowledge that we receive during our life that prevents us of living long, healthy lives. Today I want to talk about something that majority of people are completely being misled. And this is about the healthy aspects of eating vegetables. And in this particular case, I'm going to be talking more about some food additives which became very, very popular, and they are being used excessively, especially some of them like garlic or turmeric. And people are believing that these are extremely healthy and these prevent disease. Well, we have to understand one thing, that the only thing that can prevent disease is a clean, healthy body. And when body is clean, well, this is what even in Bible is being referred to as keep your temple clean. We simply do not pay attention to it. And there is no medical procedure in allopathic medicine, in this modern medicine, what we call, that focuses on cleansing. Why not? Because dirty body, dirty blood is where the disease starts from. And I don't want now to focus, because you see, whenever we talk about health, it's all intermingled. There is, everything is coming back to the same thing. So this time I don't want to be sidetracked too far from this, and I just want to talk about problems caused by phytotoxins that we are deliberately putting in our meal to flavor it. And then we are being told by our gurus, our medical gurus, our supplement gurus, our vegetarian gurus, how this is extremely healthy, how this helps the body to actually cleanse and to be healthy and clean. And it's a lot of bullock. There's absolutely no truth in it when we start dissecting this. Because every plant has phytotoxins, and these phytotoxins basically come in as the natural ones, as in three groups, as alkaloids, terpenes, which are lipid based, which are basically the oils that come out of vegetables, of the greens. Could be any kind of plant that can be used, and it will have some terpenes in it. But alkaloids, well, we know it's caffeine basically. Then out of caffeine you have also nicotine. Okay. Many people confuse, nicotinic acid is healthy. Well, we're not talking about nicotinic acid, we're talking about nicotine itself. And of course, cocaine. But you have more and more misconception now being told that coffee actually is good for you. And don't overdo it, but one coffee a day. No amount of toxin is good for you. So these are just stupidities that are being promoted even by very, very popular, we call more of a natural doctors. You know, I don't want to mention particular names, but one of the very popular ones on internet is Dr. Mercola. And he is promoting now coffee and red wine. Red wine has alcohol. Alcohol in no quantity, doesn't matter how big quantity or how small the quantity is going to be bringing any healthy benefits. Okay, and another one which comes in a third group of these phytotoxins, are phenols, which basically bring aromas. And here we have a variety of them, which one in particular I would like to mention, which is being promoted as this super duper health stuff, and vegetarian diet is loaded with it very often, especially meals that come from India, and they are based on turmeric, and turmeric is loaded with phenols, whatever you want to pronounce it in English, I always no problem. So what is all this deal about these so-called very healthy supplements or additives to the food? Well, phenol basically, is being used as antiseptic because it breaks down protein. So how can this be healthy for our body? Impossible. And a lot of people are claiming now on cannabis and products of cannabis. Wow, this is great stuff. Well, yes, body has receptors for cannabis. Of course, it will make them. Remember, from a quantum point, every frequency that the brain becomes familiar with, it will reproduce. And when it reproduces them, well, the same thing happens with our cells. They become familiar with the frequency and they will accept it and they will react to it. To some frequencies stronger than to others. It all depends on vibration and synchronicity. More desynchronized, the worse effect it is going to have on cellular structure. Minor oscillations from synchronicity will create lighter reactions. But it doesn't matter how light the effect is. One thing is always going to happen, and I always mention this, that it is not about quantity, it is about presence. When people are smoking cigarettes, doctors always say, look, all this nicotine, your lungs are going to be destroyed, you're going to get lung cancer. Well, this is actually the least of a problem. The big problem comes that smokers smoke daily and frequently. So this toxin is not very strong, but its presence in the blood, our cells react to it with defensive mechanism. So as soon as there is a presence of nicotine, for example, in the blood, the cellular receptor detects it, and first it does is stops giving permission for production of potassium, which means there is not going to be hydration. We are talking about cellular hydration. So you can have clean blood as a whistle, doing everything right, eating water with sea salt, so you are cleansing your cleansing organs, throw everything out, and if you cut yourself, your blood is going to be very, very light red, like a baby's blood. It's very clean. But if there is a presence of nicotine, the cells are not going to hydrate, like if blood was extremely toxic. And if this happens day after day, month after month, year after year, well, you are slowly going into chronic dehydration. You could be doing everything right, but don't have to even smoke. I'm talking about presence. Okay? So you may be working in some room where somebody is smoking, and the person may be far, but when you breathe, you smell the nicotine, you smell the cigarette, bingo! If you can detect it, you may be sure that your cells are detecting it. And there won't be hydration. So you are not killing yourself with all the other toxic ingredients in cigarette, like catrans, that actually turn your lungs black. So you will not have this problem. But on a cellular level, you are going to be dehydrating. Plus, whenever cells do not like something, the cellular consciousness works with the innate of the body and just demands of this toxin being taken out, which will create diuretic effect. And you will be losing water, even from blood. You will be losing plasma, because you always lose some minerals with it. So you are going into the full dehydration mode. Now I'm mentioning here just presence of a little bit of cigarette smoke, no? But you are going to have the same thing if there is a slight presence of alcohol. For example, perfumes you put on you, the swipes, if you are working in medical industry, if you are doctor, nurse especially, and if you are frequently in touch with alcohol, well, doesn't matter the amount. You have one drop of alcohol coming on your finger, there will be some of it absorbed. And it goes in the bloodstream, and until this is cleared out with diuretic effect, your cells are not going to be hydrating. And if you are always in touch with these things, and a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, well, it takes 8 hours or more just to cleanse this stuff out. So you are not hydrating. We are not even talking about the drinking alcohol, just touching, inhaling it, just smelling. You open the alcohol bottle and the smell, it's enough to shut completely your cellular absorption of water. And there's no hydration. And you will slowly dehydrate. Phenols also are present in salicylic acid, your aspirin. Okay, and many doctors are saying, oh, you should have your elderly person, dirty blood, we don't want coagulation, you have varicose veins. Coagulum may create obstruction of some artery in your heart or in your brain, and you may get stroke. So here, every day, have one aspirin. Okay, so it prevents coagulation. But on the other side, as your artery is becoming more and more brittle because of a wrong diet, which I always talk about, then another toxicity, then inevitably somewhere you are going to have small arteries bursting. And if small artery burst in your brain, and now the blood cannot coagulate because you have aspirin in, or any other what they call blood dilutant, to dilute blood, which are being always given to people after any surgery, especially people with heart problems and circulatory problems. Again, same thing if you have varicose veins. And those are nothing more than anticoagulants. And you don't have then cerebral attack from blockage of artery, but from little ruptured artery, which commonly happens. And this you can see in those people when they hit themselves a little bit or they strain a little bit and pull the skin and some little artery breaks, now the blood cannot coagulate and it keeps seeping under the tissue, and you have a big blue mark that turns green. Well, if that happens in a brain, you have stroke. Bingo, you're gone. Okay, so you don't get stroke for one thing, you get stroke for another thing. What did doctor do? Absolutely nothing. Actually made it worse. Okay, so this is all misinformation. Now, why would turmeric, for example, be a bad thing? Well, people who are conscious about their health, they do little research. So they know that turmeric is like anti-inflammatory, natural anti-inflammatory. Natural, oh, it's good. A baloney, another stupidity. Natural poison is also poison. Chemical or natural, they're all poisons. Pharmaceutical drugs or natural drugs, they're all poisons. One is no better than the other. The only thing is that the natural ones are not as strong, and usually body processes them slightly different. But no big differences. You can take epinephrine or you can take cocaine, you know, you get similar reactions. Or you can have cannabis. Now, why does cannabis appear to be working well and people feel better and actually some heal? Because it's narcotic, it relaxes you, so you become happier, less agitated, you feel less pressure, less problems, and your placebo effect kicks in. This is how you heal. You always heal from placebo, nothing else. Your own cellular healing. Now, turmeric is being used in many vegan meals, the vegetarian meals, and we always refer, oh, Ayurveda. Ayurveda always used turmeric as medicinal remedy. Yes, medicinal remedy. You don't need medicine when you are not sick. Because if you eat medicinal things when you are healthy, those medicinal toxins are going to make you unhealthy. Because one thing that they all do, stop cellular hydration. So if it is stopping inflammation, what does that mean? Number one, what is inflammation? I explained, I have video on inflammation. It is not what we are being told in the school. It is no a battle between gen and antigen, between intruder, pathogen, and your body's reaction to it. None of it. Inflammation is forced hydration, cellular hydration. So if one tissue or organ becomes very dehydrated, dehydrated cell cannot cleanse, so it becomes overly acidic. In that stage, cannot hold energy, and poor organ cannot perform. So the innate tells the cell of that organ to basically start producing vasopressin and histamine, and to start the inflammation process. With it, basically, they increase the pressure internal pressure of a tissue, and through it they push some potassium and some water inside into the cell. As increases external pressure, it increases also internal pressure of the cell. And then when cell has a little bit more water, it can dilute a little bit of the acid and maybe even take some of it out. And as soon as it becomes less acidic, the inflammation goes down. Inflammation means now that when it goes down, the internal pressure of the tissue goes down, but the pressure that increased within a cell remains. So it is slightly hydrated. So this is basically body's autopilot of self-medicated, self-medicating, self-healing. It's not strong enough to create the total healing because this is just emergency patch. This is natural emergency patch, natural medicine effect, but that body produces itself. But we can get those same medicines, medicinal elements, those are frequencies. We can get them from some plants. Turmeric is one of them. So basically, as a phytotoxin, it will be deemed by cells as toxic, so cells will stop hydration, and those who are in a process of inflammation, of forced hydration, now the chemical reacts. Either it has antihistaminic effect, or it has toxicity level much higher than the innate now says, okay, well, we cannot force this stuff into the cell, and basically cuts down inflammation. So there are two ways and more ways in which body reacts. We don't even know all these ways because we are not researching this. We are strictly researching chemistry. And there are millions of chemical reactions happening in every cell in our body every second. And we think we're gonna ever be able to consciously see what is going on. It's an impossibility. Our consciousness is too slow to work on this level. Okay, this is done. Our body is automated machine, programmed, and it just works according to the program which is stored in the blueprints of our genetic information. And every time you switch and you start eating something that you're not supposed to, or you put yourself in an environment that is not good, if the change is slow, it gives chance to your body to respond. Basically, responds the frequency of your body, and your organs responds to the frequency in which it is emerged now, submerged or immersed. And what happens? Genes start reacting to it, and it figures out which genetic imprint, which gene is most suited to this vibration, and it opens up, and now your cell is starting to use this imprint to produce and to react to as it is programmed to survive. But whenever we are changing the situation from the one that should be into now a new situation we are putting body into, well, with every genetic response, different equilibration is going on. And as we adjust to some things, we readjust of the other things. And we never can work 100%. I explain this when I talk about glucose, because glucose is really, dietary glucose, is really doing havoc with our genetic system. But also, things that we call medicinal, and we use very often medicinal, natural remedies as a food enhancers. Turmeric is one of them. It's known medicinal plant. And people start taking it daily. Of course, it is going to have different effect on your body. And if nothing else, it will always interfere with your cellular hydration and cause chronic cellular dehydration and acidification of your cells, which means your body. And you can maintain the blood clean with all the other things, like even respiration, and you can drink a lot of plasma, water with sea salt, and your kidneys are throwing everything out, and your blood is clean. But if there is turmeric, same as if there is alcohol, same if there is cannabis, cannabidiol, CBD oil, little by little you are going to go into cellular dehydration. This is why you should never take any medicinal remedy longer than maximum 3 weeks. Usually 1 week and stop. If you have heart problem, 2 weeks, maximum 3. If it didn't help you, it's not going to help you, and you are suffering from cellular dehydration on top of everything else that is bothering you. And as we are talking about these phytotoxins, which are present in every plant, but in different quantity and different types. One of the strongest one is in garlic. Now, nobody ever writes about it. Nobody, even when you look at chemical analysis of garlic, you will never find the word sulfonhydroxyl. Like it doesn't exist. The closest to it you will come is to allyl methyl sulfide, which is produced after sulfur hydroxyl within a cell reacts. And this is what then creates that smell of garlic, strong smell of garlic also. This when you break down the cell. Now, sulfur hydroxyl is extremely strong neurotoxin. And as such, it interferes with messaging system, especially electrical messaging system. So of course, since heart contraction depends on the strength of electrical impulse, and if you had eaten garlic, now you interfere with this impulse and it becomes weaker, contraction of the heart is weaker, your blood pressure goes down. Wow, great medicine, garlic, eat it every day. Well, we are having a similar effect achieved through blood toxicity. As soon as blood is toxic and dark, one thing is for sure: there is not enough plasma in it. And our cleansing organs are not doing their job, because without water, without minerals, you cannot cleanse blood. And you may have perfectly healthy kidneys, you may have perfectly healthy mucosal tissue or skin, and still you will not cleanse blood toxins if there is not enough plasma. You cannot wash car if you don't have water. You cannot wash the dishes if you don't have water. You cannot wash your face without water. So how can you expect your body to be washed and cleansed if you don't have water? And doctors always say, well, okay, you need liquids. Liquid, beer is liquid, chicken soup is liquid, milk is liquid. But they cannot do the job, because these liquids are saturated, and they are usually saturated with elements that body will have to expel. So you actually bring in more toxicity. And some of them, like beer, have alcohol and other stuff. Okay, alcohol, beer also has phytotoxins and carbohydrates, sugars. So we have to understand that the narrative that we are receiving through major media because major media always will publish any sensational article which is giving you wrong information. Majority of Nobel Prizes are given to people who don't deserve it. But their science can be used, monetized, and used against people. So that's why they are rewarded. The true scientists who actually discovered extremely important things that could benefit human health, well, they are demoted. They are being bashed, they are being ridiculed, paid off, or if they cannot pay them off and ridiculing doesn't work, none of this works, they disappear. They suicide themselves or just are gone. So don't expect ever from media that is controlled by basically the Jewish system. But again, I'm not talking against Jews itself, I'm talking about elements of Jews, some Jews, which control the US government, which control the United Nations, which control basically the politics of the world. Whatever, they control all the media. So whatever media publishes and glorifies, keep away from. Definitely keep away from. And now you can hear more and more articles coming out about doctors who finally are glorifying vegan diet and vegetarian diet, and this is the way we should go. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of those schmucks who is paid by the same guys, is now eating veggie burger and saying, great, well, this is how you get muscles. Yeah, my friend, that's how you got your muscles. We all know it. Okay, we are being brainwashed more and more, but now we are being brainwashed so ridiculously that even those who believed in this kind of a crappy science are starting to realize, well, something is not right here. Unfortunately, through schools, through these misinformations, indoctrination centers, we are being so misinformed that now, just look what's happening in the United States. The only country that had some freedom based on individual rights. Now, young kids are coming from schools and they support whom? The biggest promoter of socialism in US politics, Sanders. Because they are brainwashed kids. They have no absolute idea about life, about reality. And their brains are being filled with ridiculous ideas which we all know who lived through them that they're wrong. So here, same thing is happening and worse in medicine, because all the information we are given are wrong information. So you cannot rely on them. This is why doctors do not heal anybody. Why do we have chronic diseases? Because doctors don't know what this symptom is caused from, and they will keep medicating it, which means poisoning the body more and more, until the symptom changes. And they say, well, we healed you from this one, now you have this disease. Well, I don't know where it came from, so again, this is a different disease, so medicate until this disease is gone and something else occurs. Wow, you see, we healed you from this and this, but now you have this, until all of a sudden you end up with a chronic disease that does not respond to any medicinal patch. And we call it then autoimmune, we call it genetic, and we wash our hands. There's nothing more we can do. We poisoned you enough, we have no more poison for this, no other poison works, well, you're gonna die. Okay? This we call medicine. This is a farce. It's as far from medicine as it could get. And still, I would say 80% of people don't get it. There's a very small group of people that are awakening, but now more and more realizing what is going on. What we are being told in school, medical school, how to treat is to poison. So we actually create disease. Everybody who have seen doctor and then later died, the cause of his death is the medicinal treatment. So doctors kill more people than all the wars together and all the accidents, because almost everybody who dies today has died because of misinformation spread through doctors, medicinal personnel. And here I'm talking about alternative doctors as well, because the base of their science is still the same science. Their approach is more natural. Well, I don't care which way the poisoning comes, if it comes from pharmaceutical drug or natural plant. Poison is poison, and it is going to kill you. So try to keep this in mind and think again. You know, my strongest belief was always, since I started this investigation years ago, that plants in no way and shape could be healthy for us. And I have mentioned, I believe somewhere already, that I had a couple and friends who are now dear friends of mine, brothers and sisters, and they basically healed from all their problems they had using self-healers protocol. But then they felt sometimes during the day a little tired. Whenever they sit, there is nothing to do, they feel like snoozing. But otherwise, during the day, energetic. Whenever they work, they are energetic. But when they relax, why? Because body, we are always under attack of toxins. Through the air, through the food, through the water we drink, through the music, through news that we receive, through the movies. These are all toxic elements coming in our body. But our body, and remember, those are all just frequencies when we go into quantum. And our body is going to react to them and has to cleanse them out. So they drink water with sea salt, and whenever you relax a little bit, the body finds time, okay, let's detox some more. And detox is energy demanding. But if you have to do something, detox slows down, because now you are becoming active and the energy goes into what you are doing. But they wanted to see if spirulina, there's so much written about spirulina, sea algae, this is healthy stuff, anti-cancer, huh? Toxicity. But we don't look again this way. Oh, it's healthy. So they ask if they can do this, if they can use spirulina daily. And I said, look, in my opinion, it's toxic because it's plant. Nothing healthy can come out of it. But if you want to try it, yeah, but let me know what happens. And after 4 months, I received a big letter explaining how at first when they start using it, they felt more energized. And this tiredness in between vanished. Why? Because when you have a phytotoxin, cellular hydration is not working, so there is no cleansing going on. So since you are not cleansing, you are not using energy there, so you have energy to spare. And you are still eating correctly, everything is fine, blood is clean, your cells are working basically on ketones, on fats, so your programming is staying well. The only thing is that now cleansing on cellular level is being stopped. And what happened? After 2 months, he started with a little cough, his wife with little rashes. They didn't look at it, but as it was intensifying, they noticed that all the problems they used to have before they started the self-healing protocol came back. And the only thing they changed is they introduced some spirulina daily into their food. So they cut down the spirulina, and rapidly symptoms start disappearing. So this was my best ever proof, and I thank them immensely, that this is one experiment I didn't do, but people who follow my work and correspond with me did it, and they on themselves experienced the toxic effect of plants and spirulina, which is being told, wow, this is best stuff you can do for yourself. Well, here you have it. And you will never know if something is good for you or not unless first you detoxify and start eating correctly, and then you feel this clarity of mind and no problem whatsoever in your body. And once when you hit that, then you can experiment, okay, let me see if this has toxic effect. And just introduce one thing and keep on it and see what happens with your body. My last experiment was with the dark chocolate. And again, phytotoxin. Stop my cellular hydration. My varicose veins start popping out again that I had from motorcycle injury and bad circulation in my right leg. And crackling noise in my neck and shoulders. Dehydration on cellular level. So as soon as this started, I said, whoops, okay, now we know. Now we know for sure. Because unless you try it, you don't know. You can trust, you can listen to me, you can listen to whomever you want, and you will get contradictory information wherever you turn. There are a million types of diets and explanations, reasoning for them. How would we know? Well, make up your mind. Select something and see if it works. If it is the right thing, it will work for you. There is no difference of what blood group you are or what digestive system affiliation you have. We are all omnivores. Go to strict omnivore diet, and once when you start feeling great, well, then you can start introducing little things. Or if you want to know if banana will make you fat, raw banana. Okay, so stop eating everything else and just eat raw bananas and see what happens with your health. If it is nourishing you, you should be fine. But you will see, you will lose weight like crazy because there is no nourishment from any carbohydrate that is natural, that was not cooked or processed, because it's always packed in the cellulose, you cannot digest it. So whenever somebody tells you, oh, you're a little bit heavy, don't eat bananas, that person is an idiot. Why idiot? Because knowledge comes from what they read, and then they spread this false knowledge everywhere instead of first trying it. If you want to teach, you teach from your experiences, never from what you read in a book, because every information is tampered with. Do your walk and then do your talk. Okay, I hope I gave you some more information that you can use. You are welcome to contact me if you have any contradictory opinions. I'll be glad to respond and to hold my ground, explain you where and why, and show you in which way you can see it for yourself, what experiment you should do to verify it to yourself. We have to start learning from our own experiences. This is the only knowledge, and do not preach to anybody unless you have tried it yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Love you very much.